is being made by Lawrence Tarantino. I'm here together with Sharon Tarantino. We're from Tarantino Architect. We're consulting for Stanford University on the Hanna house for the restoration of the concrete floors. The Hanna house was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright in 1936, considered to be a Usonian house from the period that he began with the Jacobs house right before the Hanna house. The Jacobs house had concrete floors with radiant heat, which was the intent. However, the Hanna house did not receive the radiant heated floors, but forced hot air was used because of the climatic conditions. House, the Jacobs house, did not use color in the concrete floors. They were made with ordinary concrete, and this was found to be objectionable. We found that the Hanna house was the first house with concrete floors, a Usonian type, which Wright attempted to provide a color surface to them to make them integral. This was to take them out of their ordinary appearance. Into the house now, and I'll continue to talk about the research we had done on the history of the concrete floors and the history of the coloring process. Book on the house, the Hanna house, he wrote that they had used colored pigments to color the original floors. This was an early attempt to color the floors without a commercial product. We had found that subsequent projects to this, a commercial product was found by Wright's office, which is called AC Horn Colorundum, which was used throughout projects following the Hanna house, pretty much till the end of Wright's career and the Usonian period. Original colored floors did not come out as expected, and have over time attempts have been made to change the color, improve it, which were not successful. The Hannas eventually carpeted the majority of the floors, and it remained that way after their death. Wall-to-wall carpet was added. This created additional damage to the original concrete floors. Following the earthquake, restoration began in the late 90s to replace some of the floors with new concrete floors. An attempt was made to color these floors, which also did not turn out as expected. This here you see is what we believe to be an original sample of the floor, which retains most of the color that we think existed in the house originally. We've selected this slab and another slab as our control samples, which we've used to determine the color. The commercial color that Wright used, as I mentioned, the AC Horn Colorundum, was primarily a reddish floor, but we felt that historically the Hanna house, with the use of the lamp black and the red oxide, was a little browner than subsequent Usonian house floors. The living room. This is the portion of the floors that was replaced in '98, and you can see there's some color still remaining in the floors. These floors have all been stripped using Safety Clean, a Proseco product. And here is a new sample that we have produced this weekend, which is what we're attempting to achieve throughout the space. This hexagon here is another sample where we tried a couple different applications and number of coats after we achieved the color that we wanted. Here's another test sample in a location where we wanted to compare caulking charge. Walking in toward the dining room, we'll step into the kitchen, and look at another test sample area. The texture and the quality of the concrete floor makes a difference in how the color is taken and how the finish appears. Here's another area, a closet, where there's some color that we're also looking at as a control sample. For the color, we're using a Schofield product called Tintura, which is a new product that has just come on the market that we found works very well. It doesn't coat the floor. You can add as many layers as we feel necessary in staining the floors rather than coating them with a solid pigment. This will allow the history of the floor to remain, and also not make a heavy coating, give it a aged patina appearance comparable to the age of the house. The kitchen, or lavatory as it was called, there are a couple shade differences in the color which we're studying, and how the porosity of the concrete takes the different color shades. From the kitchen now back through the entrance and into the library, where the first finish of the floor has been complete this week. This portion of the library has been done over the past few days. You can still see there's some transparency in the floors. Here is our computer showing the stages of completion of the floor over the last few days. The floors in this room were made up of a red color, which was earlier attempt to color the floors. It had several different difficult conditions to deal with in here. There were a lot of patches and a lot of different types of concrete, and some hexagons which were replaced, which also created different issues. At the end of the room, we start to get a feeling of what the floors will be like when complete. We still have to add a sealer to the foreground area and another coat to the end of the room. We'll go into the area of the house where work is taking place. We're moving into the back section of the house where the bedrooms were. Okay, leaving the library, we're walking toward the master bedroom suite, which was changed in the early 50s from the original plan. Here we have the number of coats on the floor, sometimes 3 or plus or minus. This closet, we left the floor as we found it in here. And coming into the master bedroom, we discovered some new problems with the porosity of the floor and how it was taking the stain, plus some patches and some other difficult areas. And Sharon developed a procedure of dabbing on stain in specific areas that were not taking it evenly. This has to be worked in by hand and some judgment used. It doesn't occur in all hexagons, but in certain ones in this area of the older original floors, we found it a little more difficult. And don't expect this to occur in the dining room and the living room in the same way. In this view, you see the differences in the floor and the number of coats. This hexagon here has a patch in it which was done what appears to be red colorundum from the A.C. Horn product when perhaps when the hobby house was built, which we know they used it there, and it was already on the market, and this is when the changes were made in this area. Maderas is applying the first coat of stain to the floor. We developed this process over trial and error on different types of slabs. This seemed to work the best and give the most uniform effect. He washes on the stain first using a diaper rag, and he puts it on fairly heavy and works it into the pores of the concrete. And then immediately following that, he works it in once more just to even it out. This is also giving the color time to take into the concrete. We found that if you leave it on too long and it begins to dry, the concrete is not taking it in an even fashion. So immediately after applying it and before it dries, we take another cloth, a cotton knit rag, and he wipes it off in a swirling motion, as you see, and any remaining marks that are left will also give it a concrete trowel appearance and not a uniform or lineal effect. And he may go over this once or twice depending on the condition of the concrete or the porosity, and he has to make that determination as he goes. Okay?
I'm done.
That's one coat. This is done for the 2 or 3 times in the same fashion. It begins to build up and change as each coat is put on, and it builds up to a level that you compare with the test samples and determine just how many more coats or what it will take to finish it.